One thing that I find to be really fucked up about the way that people treat black women in this country is they know they would never want to be a black woman. Let's be real, guys. Let's be real. A lot of people know that if they were in some...
Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I sit my bed, my couch, and I give my opinion in the most humble manner, humble and concise. And if I'm hurting you, you know what to do. Just click on the button following thingy, and then you will get rid of me forever, basically. So the rest of it will be just you adding your comments to it, but for the most part, no. I just want to be the extended voice of you, basically. So I don't want to give anything that would hurt you or me, basically. I'm just giving it in the most humble manner, and sometimes things can get a little bit heated and everybody just say whatever they want to say, okay? Because things has happened. We are human beings. We are not robots. We have emotions. Male, female, we have emotions. Without further ado, let us click, link, bye, into the next video, okay? So this video talks about the reality of black women and what they have to live through, black South African women. It can be relatable to other black women, but this speaks specifically for the reality of black women. And I did not want to stitch much because this video has important points in it that needs your focal point earring, which is this thing and this thing. So I won't be adding much. Just thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.
One thing that I find to be really fucked up about the way that people treat black women in this country is they know they would never want to be a black woman. Let's be real, guys. Let's be real. A lot of people know that if they were in some magical way able to switch places with a black woman, that they would never even choose that. They know that, and that's the problem. I feel like being in South Africa as a black woman is actually so fucked up because black people are the majority, right? But you face the most discriminatory, most derogatory, just really painful experience from other black people. Racism is always gonna be there from like non-black people, but you don't clock it as like racism when it's from other black people, because it's then you don't want to assume that like black people hate black women. But then you think about it and you're just like, if you were to ask any single person, would you want to be a black woman? The likely answer is no. And you know that the answer is going to be almost immediately no, because the fact that we face this type of treatment in almost every sector of our lives, people know, Kuti, growing up and existing as a black woman is hard. Don't even get me started on growing up queer or like, just not heterosexual, like gay or pan or whatever it is. It's like double fuck, but like I'm just gonna talk about the black woman experience, for the time being. I feel like the queer experience is something even more hectic, especially within like a black community, so it needs its own video, but I'm gonna talk about black women for now. I realized that it's pretty fucked up being a black woman because I saw a video a while ago where the babe was saying that she's not scared of men suddenly now as she's an adult. She's always been scared of boys, and now she's scared of men because she's a woman. And I deeped that shit, bro. I was like, yes, I've always been scared of boys. I've always been scared of boys. Even now, as an adult, walking and seeing boys on the street, a group of teenage boys, is hella scary. It's very scary, and I feel like we don't talk about that fact, but it comes from our experiences of growing up with teenage boys or boys in primary and high school, especially as a black woman. And we can talk about colorism and how that impacts your experience, because I know that I didn't grow up like as a light-skinned woman, but it doesn't even matter how you grew up, because you would still be afraid of boys. It just depended on whether you valued popularity or finding friends. Because if you wanted popularity, then you'd be a cool girl, whatever, pick me. But those babes are not having a good time either. Nobody was having a good time unless they were rich, unless you're a rich black girl. And that actually gets me into speaking about how, because so many black people are either experiencing poverty or are forming part of like the lower middle class and the middle class, right? So many of our experiences with trauma, with being discriminated against, with being policed, aren't seen as like those things, because it's like we're expected to think that we should be surviving and stuff. Like, we're somehow not people that have goals and ambitions and think things and have opinions. Like, we're objects. We're literally objects. It's like they see how you grow up as a child and then they label you immediately. If you grow up a quiet, shy girl, then they expect you to be able to maintain that the whole time. You're not allowed to grow out of who you were as a child. But at the same time, they adultify you and parentify you so bad that it's like you're just going to be that black person that we rely on all the fucking time. And you're not allowed to change. You're not allowed to say no. You're not allowed to ask for what you want. You're not allowed to be a person and be a human. And you see that being done by almost everybody that you come across when you're a black woman. Your own parents tell you, they're trying to control you in some way. It's either you have to be an academic prodigy, and if not, you have to work really hard towards getting those marks, because you don't want to end up as the babes that are working at McDonald's, KFC, or like you don't want to end up a domestic worker or a cleaner or just a street sweeper, whatever it is. And those ideas don't come from you, the fact that those occupations or those jobs are bad. It's just that the way that you see how they treat those women who tend to be working in those positions, you're just like, I don't want to end up in that space, because it's not that it's a bad job necessarily, but the way that they would treat me because of that. I come across so many black women in these positions, like at restaurants as like the cashiers or as the waitresses, or domestic workers or cleaners, and I see the way that they feel like they're inferior to everybody around them. It's almost instinctual, and I'm like, I don't understand why black women are constantly being put in positions where they have to listen to some authority. Because like, it's not just those women. There's also the women who work in hospitals as nurses. There's also the women who work in the clinics, who work in home affairs, who work at the post office. They are all being treated like shit from everybody around them. They're being treated as if they're robots, and they can be talked to anyhow. They can be asked for anything. They should be expected to do whatever. And on top of that, they must look pretty and smile and be nice and polite and be happy to be there, while they're being paid the least out of everybody there. They are being paid the least of everybody in the country, and they are expected to act the nicest and the most polite. No wonder they're fucking bitter, guys. These women are the ones who have families to raise, a kaya, or in the townships. They're usually lower, like working class people. They usually have to deal with deadbeat dads or shady fathers. They have to deal with black tax. We've gotten to a point now where, because women can work, they're exploiting them with that, and they're the ones who are expected to be breadwinners and providers. Now, because women can work, if they decide to have children, they're the ones that are being blamed. If the children don't get food, or don't have housing or shelter, or don't have clothes, or they're not going to school, the mother is the one that's being blamed. Nobody talks about the fathers. And Because of that, a lot of men know they can get away with having children while still being unemployed and at home. And a lot of these men do that. They are unemployed and at home, chilling with their boys, going out, smoking herb, whatever. They don't have to think about finding a job like that, because they don't have the same pressure to be doing something, to be working, to be providing like women do. Because if you don't get a job immediately after varsity or immediately after school, like high school, you stay at home and now you're the official maid of the house. The amount of stories I've heard of women who have taken a gap year or just can't afford to go to school that now become the domestic worker of the house just because they're not working. Like, black women are constantly expected to be giving. And you see in how much they're burning out that they can't even be like sad or exhausted. All they can do is be angry and bitter. All they can just do is be mad at everybody around them. And I totally get it, because I got to that point. And when you get to that point, people now treat you worse because you don't want to act like you can't do it anymore. They treat you worse because you are now speaking up for yourself, because you are acting like you're tired, because you can't take it anymore. Now they're just like, Haibo, why are you being an angry black woman? Why are you being bitter? Why are you so stubborn? Why don't you just work? I walk around telling people that I can't work. I can't go into corporate. I can't do that because I'm so exhausted by existing as a black woman that to even think about having a 9-to-5 is unbelievable, because I might actually kill myself. I'm telling you, the way I deal with it at school, you can see also, like, at school it's hard being a black woman because somehow it's more difficult for you to deal with the work than it is for other people. But that's because you already have to deal with your own life as a black woman. I just feel like I can't take this anymore. I can't take just how much they want to control us, but at the same time desperately need us. Like, if we were to decide to like all either die or just stop working, the economy would collapse. I'm telling you, I'm being so fucking for real. The economy would be dead. And that's the day that everybody in South Africa should fear, because the moment we decide to stop,